Hey, it's Foreclosure Girl Boss. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you've seen some videos before, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So I just want to say, please make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. It really helps me keep going, guys. It lets me know that you really like what I'm putting out. And it motivates me to just keep popping in to share what I know. So I wanted to pop in today to talk to you about finding these foreclosures, right? Finding these REO properties because in order to buy them, you have to find them. That's a no-brainer, right? In order to buy REO properties, you have to know where to find them. You have to know where to go to buy them, right? Like, where are they? Where do you find these properties, right? Now, in my e-guide, I do break down different websites. I do break down some paid websites, some free websites, and I tell you which websites to avoid that are just, in my opinion, horrible. And I break all that down in my e-guide. However, I do want to pop in and give a quick video to break down some of that to you so that you understand that it's also important to know where to find these type of properties. All right. So in order to buy them, be successful, make money, you have to know where to find them. Right. Okay. So did you know a lot of these REO properties, these foreclosures, you can find just by riding down the street, like on your way home, you know, in your neighborhood. Just drive your neighborhood and then drive neighboring communities. Take a different way home from work. Take a different way home to a different way to the grocery store. Take a different way to go pick your kids up from school, you know. So just make it a habit to just drive through different neighborhoods. And that actually is important on so many different levels. One, you get to learn different neighborhoods. Like, maybe you drive past that neighborhood every day. You never really had a reason to drive in that neighborhood because you don't really know anybody who lives there. But guess what? If you're going to be an investor and you want to learn how to buy foreclosures like a boss, you need to start knowing different neighborhoods. You need to start knowing different neighborhoods. So drive through the neighborhood, just drive through there. What does it look like? Are the homes ran down? Do people keep their homes up? Like, what does that neighborhood look like? And circling back, like I said, you can tell a lot of these REO foreclosure properties just by looking at them. You want to know how? If you're driving down the street and you see a house that has notices posted on the door, that is typically a clear indication that it's an REO slash foreclosure property. Not always now, because sometimes, you could have a homeowner. I've seen, when I used to door knock, sometimes I would see homeowners post notices of their own on the door, like, hey, doorbell isn't working, come around to the side door, something like that. But usually these notices are posted from the inside of the property. Like, usually you'll see them in the windows, or sometimes you'll see it, in the storm door, on the front door, but usually somewhere around there. But usually in the windows is where you'll see these notices posted. But I've seen them on the doors as well. And sometimes you'll see the blinds raised where it looks vacant. Sometimes you'll see the grass is kind of high. Sometimes it just looks like it's a vacant property. It looks like it's distressed. And then you see those notices posted. And typically those notices are notices from what's called the field service manager, who has gone to that property and deemed that property to be vacant. And typically it'll also say something like maybe the property has been winterized by that field service manager, or it may say, no trespassing, things of that nature. But usually if you're driving down the street and you see signs, notices, pieces of paper that are posted in the window, a lot of times that is a clear indicator that it's an REO property. Now, it could be an investor that has already bought an REO property and now they're rehabbing it and they're just posting their permits in the window. So that's why I'm saying, not all the time when you see notices posted, is it an REO foreclosure property? However, a lot of times it is. And it's one of the easiest ways to find REO properties. Drive different neighborhoods. Drive around. See what you see out there. Do you see any notices posted? And a lot of times if it looks vacant, hey, get out and look at it. Get out and read the notice. But just be careful because people are a little crazy these days. But anyway, that is one of the easiest ways that you can find REO properties. And I do want to advise you on that. If you do find it where it's just the notice that's posted from the field service manager, the field service manager is not going to tell you who the bank is. The field service manager is not going to tell you who the listing agent is. They are there to do a job, which is to secure that property. Their job is to make sure that that property stays safe, sound, and secure. So their job is not to sell the property. So you calling them, they're going to ignore your phone calls. They're not going to call you back. If they do answer, they're going to be agitated and annoyed, simply because they're used to people calling them all the time, trying to find out information about the property to see if they can put an offer in on the property. And that's not what they're there for. They are there to secure the property, make sure that it's safe, sound, and secure, and make sure that they rekeep the property and that they're getting it ready for the listing agent to take over that property, or getting ready to getting the property ready for auction if the seller chooses to auction off the property. So again, running down the street, seeing property that has these notices posted in the window, a lot of times is a really good indicator of the property being an REO property. So if the field service manager, the people who actually post the notices in the window, if they can't tell you how to purchase the property, or if they can't sell you the property, then what do? You have to keep an eye on that property to see when there are other signs posted. Like, for instance, if a real estate agent gets it, there's going to be a for sale sign that's going to go in the yard, and you're going to see all the agent's information. If you see an auction sign in a yard, it'll have the auction details typically, or it'll give you a website or a QR code or something so that you know the details of that property and what you're going to need to do to bid on that property. But pretty much you're going to have to watch that property. And sometimes agents will go, when they get the assignment, sometimes they will go and post their information in the window and pretty much says, hey, this is such and such and such, with such and such company. If you suspect any activity on this property, or any any vandalism or any trespassing or something like that on this property, please give me a call. Well, now you have the listing agent's information. Now you have the listing agent's information, but you have to watch that property when you see those notices posted in the window. All right. And then, like I said, there are different websites that you can go to. There are some that are paid websites that you can go to. Some of them are free websites that you can go to that you could buy these REO properties. However, this is what I want you guys to be careful of. Some of these sites are so behind on their statuses and their inventory, and just in they call it a feed, in their feed on these properties. And let me tell you what I mean by that. So these sites, what they do is when they find a REO foreclosure property, they'll pull it in typically from the MLS. They'll pull that property in, all the information about that property, they'll pull it in from the MLS. But what they fail to do is when it goes under contract or when it's sold, they neglect to let people know that the property is either under contract or sold. Now, my theory on that is because the more you report that it's under contract or sold, then now you lose opportunity to bring people in on your website, especially if it's a paid site. So the more properties that you can show on your website that's available, the more investors you're going to get to pay to have access to your website. So what happens is they pull these, they pull it in as a feed. They call it a feed, they pull the properties in. They usually get it from multiple MLSs. They pull the information in about the REO. They'll tell you about, the price and all of that. But when the price gets reduced, when there's something else that the agent has added to that listing, when it goes under contract and when it gets sold, is where they fall short. So what'll happen is you'll pay your money, you'll go on that site, and you'll see this beautiful REO property, and you're like, great, let me call the agent that they have listed. And then you'll call somebody like me, the foreclosure listing agent, and you'll say, hey, I see this property at 123 Main Street. I was on this website, and I want to take a look at it. And I have to tell you, I'm sorry, sir, but or ma'am, I'm sorry, but that property sold about 2 months ago, 3 months ago, 6 months ago, 9 months ago. And the reason why I have to tell you that is because, unfortunately, the site that you paid your money to belong to did not keep up with my MLS to show that, when it went under contract, and it didn't show you when it was sold. So it looks like it's still available, when in actuality, it is not available. And that can be very frustrating. If you go to different sites and, every time you find a property, you call on it and it's already gone and it's been sold for like 3 months, like, that's super frustrating. It's super frustrating. All right. So my advice there is make sure that you are only paying for the sites that keep their feed up so that you can maximize the potential of these properties being available so that you can place your offer on these properties. And, make sure that they're reputable sites. All right. So make sure that they're keeping their feeds up. Make sure that they're only showing you active properties so that you can bid on them. All right. So again, in order to buy REO properties, you do have to know where to go to buy these properties. So you can ride down the street. You can find them. You can go to different websites that auction these properties off. You can go through a real estate agent, a foreclosure listing agent, perhaps. They have inventory coming in. They know when they have listings coming in. They know when they have assignments coming up. And if you have an agent that's not a foreclosure listing agent, then a lot of times they can search the MLS for properties that are on the market. And they can also network with other agents, foreclosure listing agents that may have properties that are coming up. So real estate agents are also a really good source for finding REO foreclosure properties. All right, guys. Hopefully that was helpful. Hopefully now you have a handle as to where you can go and how you can find these REO foreclosure type of properties so that you can buy them and level up like a boss. All right. Toodles.